Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Tim Williams, and I am here to break down today's NBA slate for March 2nd. I will be also looking at my lineup from yesterday. We'll kind of break that down real quick and just kind of see what went right, what went wrong, my game strategy for yesterday's slate, and yeah, so we'll break that down. So my name is Tim Williams. I will be breaking down and doing lineups for NBA and MLB here on this channel. If you like that, if you like content, I'm gonna be posting every day. I'm doing a lot of spring training stuff for MLB, so if you like that, definitely give me a follow. But yeah, we'll just get right into it. So here's my lineup for yesterday's NBA slate. Pretty poor. Total, I scored 234. So not good. I knew right off the bat, as soon as that first game started, as soon as the Orlando Magic and the Dallas Mavericks started, I knew I wasn't gonna probably do all that great. And there's reasons why. So in general for this slate, what I really wanted to do was game stack. So I had some success with that the previous night, and I wanted to kind of take advantage of the lower owned games or players. So for this particular matchup, I knew Houston has injuries going on. They're not really a great team. Definitely a team I want to stay away from in general. But I liked this matchup with Cleveland. I thought maybe this would be a very close game. It was pretty close throughout most of the game. But John Wall was indeed going to play on the back-to-back, and Victor Oladipo was also going to play. So I figure right there, those two guys are going to do the majority of the scoring. So John Wall ends up being 1% owned. Like that's huge. If he has a huge game, that's awesome for me. And Victor Oladipo only goes 11% owned, not too shabby. So Wall ends up going for 46 fantasy points, which is incredible. Super happy about that. And then Oladipo goes for 34, not too bad for his price point at 7-7. He was kind of hobbling right at the end of the second quarter. I don't know if you caught that or saw the highlight of that, but this guy, man, he seems like he's very fragile. So always keep that in the back of your mind. But this team, yeah. So, and then on the Cleveland side, I went with Sexton, who ended up scoring almost 58 fantasy points, massive for his price point. Only owned less than 5%. That's huge. So in theory, so far, my strategy is working. And then I paired up with Jared Allen. I'm still riding that Allen train. He seems to have crashed down to earth behind me. And it's not like he even had a bad game. He still had a double-double, but his price has gone up. He was the most expensive out of the four guys from this game that I chose to stack, and scored the least points. So not ideal there. Definitely not going to break your lineup, but certainly not going to get you in that top 10% or whatever. But and then here's kind of where I went wrong. My value plays. So I kind of switched around last minute, paying attention to some news. And, I was like, I had some success with Markieff Morris. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dwayne Bacon. He's starting, he's getting minutes. So my theory was he's getting minutes. He might be able to get some points, but fact of the matter is Dwayne Bacon kind of stinks. At least in fantasy. I'm not trashing the guy, but the Bacon did not sizzle last night, I will say. And he only got, 7 real life points, less than 10 DraftKings points. So definitely going to kill your lineup. And then I paired him up with his teammate. I'm not sure how to say his name, Emmanuel. And Emmanuel gets 13 points at a lesser owned percentage, but had maybe I just rostered one, maybe the cheaper guy, that would have been more ideal. What I didn't stop and think was, all right, I'm getting these two guys against Dallas. That was my theory. Like, there was a high point total. Clearly, you can see that 130 to 124, but these guys did not factor in that equation at all. So also another thing that I'm learning from this was putting Bacon and Emmanuel together actually is negative correlating. For the chance for both of those two guys to go off or at least get you 20 points is very unlikely. Less likely than maybe just one going off. So you just pick one of the value guys. So that was my mistake. I realized that as soon as that first quarter hit, I was like, man, both of these guys are just going to fail this lineup. PJ Dozier, clearly I wasn't the only one thinking there's going to be value here with 43% owned, and Campazzo was out. So somebody's got to get some more minutes, and that Nuggets team is so hard to just pick apart. So not ideal. Did not have a good game off the bench. So basically, those three guys are kind of lineup killers. And then I had Cantor in there. I kind of like that late night hammer. I know it shouldn't matter and I shouldn't think that way, but I do like to have at least one guy in there on the West Coast games. And a lot of people seem to go off in that game. I was watching that game toward the end there. Cantor really didn't play that much in the fourth quarter. The game really started to blow out. So that was a kind of a disappointing day. But I look at this lineup and I see the positives in the lineup, and it's always good to look back and review, because if you don't, you're going to be just losing a ton of money. And why don't we just look at real quick the winner of this contest. Bear with me. Hoagie3082. Love the name. So I don't know why I wanted to just stay away from the Bulls, and I probably shouldn't have, clearly, but Kobe White, 38. Shake Milton, dude, I was totally gonna play him, and I did it. And so he was in the player pool for sure. Goes out, hits 38. Oh, Bogdanovich, 50. So inconsistent. See, that's the thing, is like you never know when these players are gonna hit their ceilings, for that matter. This was a good play. I like Porzingis. Low ownership. If he's healthy enough to play in a game, these guys are professional athletes. They're going to play their minutes. They're not just going to go out there and play 15 minutes. They're going to go out there and try to win. So he gets 40. DeAndre Jordan, one of those guys where people play him and you think he can never get it right, but he goes out there and gets 37. The Martin Bros, they went out and had an excellent game, 3,500, and he gets you 25, 26 fantasy points. That's huge, even at that higher owned percentage. Covington, I actually did a showdown with him in it last night. Gets you almost 48 fantasy points. That's huge. And then the Joker, I look at these games and I'm never surprised at what this man can do. I mean, he's probably up there for what, league MVP. He's literally carrying this Nuggets team on his back. No offense to the other guys, but he almost he's one assist away from a triple double. Absolutely insane. Almost scores 40 real life points. This guy's a monster. So we'll take a look at today's slates and we'll see if the Joker kind of fits in there, because he is on a back-to-back. But in general, congratulations to Hoagie. And we learn from these lineups, and then we look at ours and say, where did we go wrong? Like what were the value plays that I could have nailed on? And when you think back, and I look back at my lineup and I'm like, man, is Dwayne Bacon really going to get me there? Is he really going to get me 30 fantasy points? No. Was Dozier going to get me 20? Like, I guess there's a possibility. Emmanuel, the vet, like, looking back, it was a dumb mistake on my part. So, but whatever, you can't beat yourself up. You lick your wounds, you move on. There's always the next day. That is the beauty of this game. So we'll look at today's slate here. And yeah, I believe we have the Detroit and Toronto game is canceled. So this makes it a 6-game slate. I'm just going to go over real quick because it's still early. There's a lot of news that hasn't come out yet, but just some guys I like. I think today I'm still going to stick with game stacking. I like that move, even if it's just 1-on-1 or 2-on-1. Um, but the two games I like in particular for DraftKings would be this Memphis and Washington game and this Denver Milwaukee game. I believe have the highest point totals if you're into the whole Vegas thing. But with this game in particular, here we go. I've been having a decent amount of success stacking Westbrook and Morant, or no, not Morant. Sorry, Westbrook and Beal. Um, so I do like both of those guys. If I can only get to one, then so be it. Um, but yeah, I like both of those guys. I kind of secretly like Bertans a little bit. He's kind of a risk. He's not like the cheapest guy. 4.7's not bad. But the fact of the matter is he shoots a lot of threes. And if he can nail those threes, he's going to get you 28 fantasy points. He's going to get you that 30. But if he doesn't take as many or misses, he'll get you that 14, 13. But 48, 32, like those are definitely in the cards. Memphis, not the greatest defensive team, I think, but I do like this game a lot in terms of stacking and et cetera. And we'll look at the other side, like with Memphis, like absolutely love Morant at 7,000. That's a steal. And then I also love Valanciunas a lot at 7.2. And I know he went kind of low on last game, and he was in a really good spot against Houston. Only puts up 12 points because he had 5 fouls, so he almost fouled out of that game. So the minutes weren't just there. Plus, there was a blowout, anyways. So I'd like to look back today, and I think for 7.2, I think he can get you 40 points, and you should be happy with that. But anyways, either way, I do like this game a lot. I don't really for value. Maybe Justice Winslow might be a guy to look at. You know, I don't see why you wouldn't play him at that price at 39. Bane, I will warn you, he had a big game last game. He had 32 points. Played a couple more minutes than normal, perhaps because of the blowout, but he had a block and 3 steals. So that right there gives him a chunk of points. And yeah, so if you factor those points out of it, he gets you 20 something points. So don't really love that. Let me move my guy here. But anyways, moving on, I'll make this quick. But the Clippers, Boston. So I think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to garner a lot of ownership here. Kawhi Leonard, especially at 8.8, which is insanely cheap. And then Paul George at 8.4. Like, there's no reason for them to be that cheap, but maybe there is a reason they are that cheap. I don't know. Boston is a funny team to watch. Like, they generally keep these games pretty close. And I don't think this game's going to be a high total game. So I am probably just going to stay away from it. But if you do want to play like Kawhi and George, like I totally get it. I actually, for value, I don't mind trying to get in Ibaka or Tristan Thompson, who will start. I love Robert Williams, but 46 is too much for that to take a chance. I'd rather take a chance on like Zubac or something like that. But not a whole lot I love in that game. And then Atlanta, Miami, who knows? I mean, Butler might be out of this one. So Bam looks pretty good at 8.7. I like Capella a lot. I don't know if a lot of people are somewhat down on him sometimes. Maybe he just doesn't get the minutes, but I like him. Collins had an absolute ceiling game. I think he almost got 60 DraftKings points. But in general, maybe last minute I'll take a look at who's in, who's out. So not a whole lot of information here, but I kind of, I hate to say this, but I kind of like Iggy right here at 3.8. If you need a value play and you're looking for somebody to probably get you 20 points, that might be the guy to look at off the bench. So Iggy there, maybe Gallinari if he can hit some threes. He went off against Boston a couple games ago. See here, 55, but the last two, he missed all of his threes. So if he gets a little hot streak going, he might not be a bad play, but 4.9 is a little too expensive. New York Knicks, San Antonio Spurs. I don't like anything here. The only exception is Randall. And then if, let's see. So I do like Randall here. And then if we're going to the point guard here, Derrick Rose has been starting and he has been pretty phenomenal. I trust him. I don't really trust Quickly, although I do like him a lot. If and all this is to say, if Peyton's out, I would go with Rose here. But those are the only two guys I like from this game. I don't like anybody from the Spurs, and I will stay away because there's a lot else to like. The Denver Milwaukee game. This is huge, and this is something I'm going to be thinking about for tonight's slate. Is that Giannis and Joker very high, probably the top options on the slate. I think the ownership is going to be there. People are going to go out of their way to roster those two. So it might make guys like Beal and Westbrook lower owned, although so that might get you some leverage in this competition or in this game. And so I'm kind of hoping for those guys to just kind of cancel each other out. And so they both don't hit their ceilings and they both will likely have good high scoring games, but I'm kind of hoping they kind of cancel each other out. I do like Michael Porter Jr. He's been getting a lot of minutes and he's been hitting a lot of shots and he will hit for three. I kind of like Bobby Portis Jr. for 4.7. He's not like a bad option. It looks like Campazzo's out again. I don't trust anybody, any of those guards in Denver. I know there's a lot of value there, but I don't trust any of them. A lot of guards are out and just like, I don't know. They're just so inconsistent. So pass for me there. But I do like Michael Porter Jr. there. I do like Portis a little bit, and then this last slate here, Phoenix Suns and the Lakers. I think this is going to be an awesome real life game from a fantasy standpoint. There's not really much I like here. Both are pretty good defensive teams. So I love Chris Paul and LeBron's LeBron and I love Devin Booker, but this game I think is going to be a lower scoring defensive game, a lot of strategy in this game. So I don't think there's a lot I like here, but I think it should be a good game. The one guy I might look at because there's are high salary players I want to get from other games, but this guy did me right last time. Markieff Morris at 3.4. He got me 30 fantasy points last game. He might be a cheap option. He has been starting. If he's not starting, then I might pass, but definitely a cheap value play at 3.4 and he can get you 20 points, hopefully, then that's a win. Like I said, you're doesn't matter if you like players or don't like players. It's all about the matchups and, does this work for my lineup? Stay positive, have fun. This looks like a nice, fun 6-game slate. So again, my name is Tim Williams. I'm here to break down all my previous lineups and take a quick look ahead at the slates for tonight. And if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, have fun. I hope you enjoy your day and stay safe.